Let's get salty!
Hey everyone, Zeddy here again today with a brand new video, and we're a couple days removed from the latest balance patch that saw Rogue get nerfed to both Standard Wild Paladin changes, and wanted to go over the best decks to climb with, whether it's Standard or Wild, trying to get to Silver, Gold, Platinum, Diamond, or Legend. We actually do have one deck, at least, that runs the new card Umbra, so that's pretty cool. And we still have our giveaway going on for those Lost City Vangoro regular pre-orders, which I'm giving away two of. 2 mega bundles. To enter that giveaway, like and comment in the video, link down description below, the one with that thumbnail over there. Be subscribed to the channel. Every 1,000 subs we get until all those cards are revealed, I want another mega bundle, so hit that sub button, make me go baroque. Starting off, Pain Demon Hunter seems to be the most reliable deck to go with right now. It's the only deck too, I believe, out of all of these that is running the new card, if you're not aware, that's in the game for free, Endbringer Umbra with Battle Cry, trigger the death rattles of 5 friendly minions that died this game. And the Pain archetype has the Ball Hogs, which can get reactivated, as well as the Ravenous Fell Hunter, and you have multiple of them die. You get all those death rattles, so you're getting Ball Hogs on the board, and you're dealing a bunch of damage. That could be pretty good. And you got the aggro package, your early game, your weapon here of Infernal Stapler. Where's my stapler? Sorry, that if you watch Office Space, you might get. I'm an old man. You might get that reference. Anyways, in return policy, it's kind of like almost, you know, it's a death rattle package, it's an aggro package, it's got all that stuff going on, and it is like the best rated deck at like Diamond through Legend. Even at like lower Legend, it's doing pretty well, so might be a deck you want to try out. Yeah, very aggressive, but again, a little bit of late game validity with your Umbra, or you get some damage in with like Arana and your Acupuncture, redirecting the damage to your opponent could be quite nice. Drunk Paladin, arguably still the best deck in the game. Like a lot of us thought was going to be the deal. Yeah, Divine Brew got nerfed, it doesn't buff the attack, so it's worse with Lanessa, but you're still cheating out Sea Shanty, you're still cheating out Lightbots, and you can still do really gross stuff. It's a very good deck, and yeah, you just play basically all your spells as much as you can in the early game, so you can get to those Lightbots, get to Sea Shanty, and even with like Lanessa and coins, you can do absurd stuff, locking your opponent out, sometimes like multiple auras, and yeah, deck hasn't changed like at all since the nerf, because again, this was such a minor change that yeah, Drunk Paladin is doing really well. Menagerie Priest, which was brought to the Spring Championships, pretty good deck. On the ladder, it's got the late game here of a Menagerie Jug to buff your other tribal stuff. +3/+3 could be +9/+9 overall, which is pretty nuts. And the Imbue buff basically just buffed aggro, right? Because you never whiff on the early hero power. You hit a card like Spirit of the Kaldori, it's absolutely insane. And yeah, you want to play 1-drops into your 2, into your 3, and then try and win by like turns 5 and 6. It's very aggressive, not a ton of late game validity to it, but it is one of the better trending decks out there. Instead of recommending Triple Blood Starship, which we have recommended multiple videos in a row, and I'm gonna go with, instead of Triple Blood, Double Blood with Unholy, because it's trending slightly better. I think it's a there's not a ton of sample size to work with, but I thought I would just recommend it. It's a little bit different. I think I said a while ago this new Death Knight archetype in a video where you had like the foam render. You still have Kill Jaden, but you also have like Headless Horseman. There are some people that don't run Kill Jaden, they run Marin instead. You might want to consider that because the Kill Jaden might not be worth it. You might just want the Marin value. But yeah, Exodar Ceaseless, the usual deal. Build a big Starship, however. You have tools in here with like Brittlebone Buccaneer, giving like, Soulbound Spire, Reborn, giving your Defense Crystal Reborn. You can actually build even bigger Starships than the Triple Blood version. Same with like Orbital Moon. You just don't have like the Wild Pyro clear in here, so it's a little worse at clearing boards. You still have like Corpse Explosion, of course, for that. But overall, yeah, if you want to give Deathlight a try, the Control-Y version, Double Blood might be the better way to go. I'm not entirely sure, but we're probably not going to do deck updates until the expansion comes out, because yeah, we're just, this meta is not exactly exciting. We've all talked about these decks before, right? And speaking of that, yeah, Rainbow Menagerie still good, similar to Priest, where you just want to swarm the board with a bunch of tribal minions, buff it up with the jug. You have effectively like infinite damage with Foam Render. Horizon's Edge can push a bunch of damage too. Corpsicle. It's like a very swarmy board deck that has a lot of burst that can do a very good job of smorking a ton. Handbuff Hunter, pure scam deck, but again, the numbers are good on it. You don't want to draw the card that my mouse is over, Ranger Gilly. What you want to draw is a mythical Rune Bear or a bumbling Bellhop and buff the crap out of it. In particular, the best card to hit is Reserve Spot, because you not only get +4/+4, but it becomes -2. You hit that early, you can just win with that early scam. The deck has almost no late game validity. You have a bit of reach with like Shala and Furious Howls, but overall it's very much a scam. Buff things up as fast as possible, try and win, and then move on if you didn't. Imbue Paladin, again, it's a deck that does really great. The lower the ranks you are, the higher the ranks you get, the worse the deck gets. But yeah, it's pretty solid, especially Diamond through Legend. Get those imbues going, get the Infinite Dragon Train going, especially if you can get that to 10 cost dragons. You got like Briar Spawn hitting face almost all the time. Like it's a 50-50 for it, and you have late game validity with like Ursol, casting Renewing Flames. Sometimes you just poof the board with a Nacronos to push that 10 for lethal. And yeah, it's a deck that you can take and climb decently, and then again, you're gonna probably have issues the second you get close to Legend. You might want to switch off to another deck, but overall it's definitely Legend capable. It's just always funny to look at the win rate of this deck as you move up those ranks. Hydration Warrior, probably the only warrior deck I can recommend. It's been the same thing for quite some time, where Totolora you can get out with Chemical Spill. You have Disruption like Rat to try and beat combo decks, and you just try and grind people out, bringing back your Zilliax, which has Virus Module, Perfect Module, you know, your Turtle, and you can eat your opponent's win con sometimes with him, and Kill Jaden's in there for the, you know, the Warlocks and the DKs to try and compete with that ultra late game strategy. Spell damage Druid still pretty decent. Magical Dollhouse at 2 apparently still worth running, not quite as well curving into Woodland Wonders, but the basic build of the deck is the exact same. I'm gonna cycle through, get to that Alonius Incendius and burn your opponent out. And yes, get this card in the mulligan, your win rate goes through the roof. This is the card you want more than anything. Never throw it away, because Amir draws you those 6 cards, gets you a bunch of mana, gets you minion presence, and even gets you a bit of armor. It is so unbelievably good. Protoss Mage still viable. People hate it, but it's good. Colossus getting that crazy damage spread, stalling with armor gain like Ancient of Yore, Sleet Skater, Shield Battery, trying to get more Protoss cards from tie pools or Executoru. And yeah, pretty good deck for the most part if you're facing more of those slow grindy decks, because they just cannot really out armor you, unless I think Warlocks sometimes can, but it's really difficult, especially if you like Bob and hit like a Brewmaster or another Colossus. It is so much damage. And lastly, Rogue definitely took a big hit, significant nerfs on this patch. Best trending deck I could find is like Pirate Rogue with like Fireack, where you know you could play it early with Sandbox Scoundrel. It can corrupt Shala. We're still playing like the whole Crystal Cove, not nearly as effective anymore, but yeah, pretty good tempo deck still, but it's definitely not nearly as potent as you can actually kind of answer those bargain bin Buccaneers, as they're not 5/5s anymore, so that could be a pretty big deal. And in Wild, you know, it's Wild. It doesn't change a lot. Pirate DH instead of Shadow Priest is still kind of the go-to aggro deck with your Disruption and Mana Burn, all your cheap pirates and damage, and your ultra late game of Kurtrus, the hero card. Also Big Shaman, which again we recommend almost every single time, where you want to find your Muck Morpher, whether it's through your Fairy Tale Forest, and then get like the gavel on it, get it cheap. What you really want to hit is Thunderbringer, so you can also get another Thunderbringer and get all these minions out and then kill your opponent. You can buff them up with Rockbiter Weapon or Jam Session. This is a super scam deck. You win fast, you lose fast, and it drives a lot of people pretty crazy. Imbue Paladin, still good. Divine Brew didn't really change much, although I only see 1 copy of it in this deck now. But yeah, play a bunch of Imbue cards, get things cheap, especially with like Imbue of Divinity, and then couple it up with like Sunsapper Lanessa, cheat out your 0 mana Light Rays, or throw it onto a chill Blade Champion for some charge damage. You can also lock people out with like Rebuke and Cold Feet. Very fast deck, very annoying deck to face, but definitely a good one if you're looking to climb. If you're looking for a nice budget deck, Reno XL Paladin is still super strong. Only about 20 legendaries or so, but it's really good with the whole Holy Wrath into Ceaseless. You also have the whole Reno package to deal with aggression. ETC's got our Tight Lit Witness for Ice Block, Timeout, Holy Wrath, and I always enjoy this deck, but my god, it is just such an expensive deck. It's pretty hard to recommend other than if you have the cards, maybe give it a go. And then lastly, Imbue Mage actually has a newer card in here, Smoldering Grove. It really helps with the card draw that this deck kind of lacked. And you have the secret package with Ice Block, Objection, and you top out with, yeah, Reckless Apprentice, which is pretty darn broken with Sing Along Buddy. So there you go. Decks to climb with, probably the last deck recommendations we'll have until that expansion goes live. And yeah, hopefully guys, if you're enjoying Hearthstone enough to keep playing, these decks will help you out until that expansion goes live. If you enjoyed the video, please like and subscribe. Have a great day and stay salty, my friends.